Thank you everyone for being here today. We're excited to have you with us on this sunny Wednesday afternoon here in PA. I guess it's a little sunny here. I'm not sure where you guys are calling from, but it's been fun. So I wanted to do something a little different and invite Shalimar in to chat with you guys instead of just talking about all the boring mortgage stuff. I'd rather give you something of value. And Shalimar is a marketing expert. I've been working with Shalimar for about a year now, and she's helped me exponentially with my brand, with my building my business, and helping me become just better at my craft. So she's going to be talking about marketing and social media and fun stuff like that. That's going to help you guys navigate the shift that we're seeing, right? So we're all seeing a change in the market, and Shalimar is an expert. She's done over 500 of these presentations, probably closer to 600, and she's going to help you guys become more of an expert in this area. So without further ado, I'm going to give it to Shalimar and let her take it away. It's all you.
Thank you, Chris. That was, I think you talked me up too much, but thank you. Yes.
I believe in you.
Thank you. So I'm pretty excited about this. When I started in the mortgage industry and educating realtors, we were experiencing a shift. So that was 2004. Then when I joined a direct lender as their director of marketing, that was in 2008. So if any of you have been in the business, you know one of these numbers I'm throwing out there, that was another big shift, especially for them. And I love change. You probably want to throw stones through the computer at me right now by saying that, but I love change because change gives you an opportunity to educate and motivate. If everything was the same, first of all, it would be boring, but also it doesn't give you the opportunity to grab market share. It doesn't give you the opportunity to become more visible and demonstrate your knowledge and expertise, which builds up that credibility. Those two components, being visible, top of mind, and demonstrating your knowledge and expertise, that's the magic formula. Anybody that you see being successful on social media is only doing so, but it's not rocket science. They don't have any skill sets that you don't have or that you couldn't develop. They just are utilizing a tool to magnify simple disciplines repeated daily, the compound effect. So what I wanted to do today for all of you is to make it really easy, so easy that you can literally take today and it becomes a playbook. You can do one of the strategies, you can do all of the strategies, but no matter which one you pick, you literally have a paint by numbers on how to accomplish it. So my name is Shalimar, like Chris said, and I own a company called From Stress to Blessed Marketing. Now, all we do all day is the whole team of us is mortgage and real estate marketing. So I speak your language. I know your pain points. Even if I don't personally live them, I hear about them. And it's my job to gain traction and deliver results despite some of those pain points, right? So please know that if you have any questions, you can certainly put them in the chat. I will do my best to pause and check for questions. Chris, I'd love it if you wouldn't mind being an MC in that department if you happen to see a question that looks good. And we're just going to get it rolling here. So,
got it.
Absolutely love Jimmy Mackin. I highly recommend following him on Instagram. If you don't follow him personally, you can follow his company. He puts out these fantastic swipe templates. And I love that because that's that paint by numbers. It's like, okay, I get what you're saying, expert, but how do I make that apply to my business? And I love when someone just gives it all away. Because people want to work with those that know the most, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. How do you give your knowledge away, but still maintain that you're still the person they should go back to when they want to list or buy? So at the very beginning of the year, Keeping Current Matters, which by the way, if you're not a follower of Keeping Current Matters, it's another fantastic resource. It's keepingcurrentmatters.com. I actually have a slide at the end of the presentation with the link. And they do a monthly market update. They have a ton of really, really wonderful resources. Pretty much all of my clients are either on Keeping Current Matters or through my own subscription and stuff we do. We try to incorporate a lot of the great data that they put there. But at the very beginning of the year, they had this slide in one of their market updates, and I just absolutely loved it. So if you want to get more listings in 2022, the call to action at the time was to make more investments in your future. And now here we are, it's August 10th. So it is the future, right? And he gave 4 areas in which to invest. Now, if anybody listened at that moment or at any of my presentations that I've done since this slide came out, you're already ahead of the game. The good news is that there's still so much opportunity to be had. I understand that we're in a quantity issue right now. We don't have as much. Everybody, as I've been saying, wants the same piece of cheese. And it's a lot harder to get people to pay attention to what you have to offer, especially if you haven't made any changes to your business despite the market shift. So 4 areas in which to invest. Agents and admin staff. So if you're part of a team, if you're a solo agent, this could just be investing in personal development. So you can check that box right off because you came today, and that is investing in your personal development. So you're already winning. Investing in video content, advertising, and social, which today's presentation will incorporate. Investing in creating a world-class experience. Now, where that comes into play is, as I mentioned, you can be very visible. However, if your experience is poor, that's the credibility piece. So I could be out there all day, every day, I could be getting leads, but if I start doing a poor job of either converting those leads, treating those leads with a world-class experience, getting back to people and so on, then eventually that's going to dry up. Because even if I'm at the top of my game visibility wise, you have to have that credibility piece. So I don't ever think it's never a bad idea to take a look at your process and see how you can improve your process and how you can improve it from the point of view of the consumer, from the person that's buying or selling. And then the final one here is to invest time in becoming a market expert. So what that means is that your job right now is to inform. That's your number one job, is to inform, because there is so much noise about where things are going. Should I buy now? Should I sell now? People don't know what a recession is. They just don't. They might not understand inflation. They might not understand what a temporary buy down is, or that there are things called adjustable rate mortgages that could help them temporarily, or that there are renovation loans, or that you can buy and sell a house at the same time and how those things transpire. There's so many opportunities to educate people because this is, for many folks, uncharted territory. And it's uncharted territory for a lot of realtors too. So that, again, is even more opportunity, because if you're out there and you're in the forefront and you're the one that's, you're the one that's getting out that information first, then people are going to want to follow you. Yes, people will emulate you and copy you if you, and that's okay. That's okay. Because if people start copying you, you're doing something right. Okay. So investing time in becoming a market expert is our focus today, but it will incorporate video, content, and social. Let's talk a little bit more about the difference between inbound and outbound marketing. Okay. So clients, prospective clients, past clients, clients in process, they look to you for knowledge. And especially when someone's in the process or about to go into the process, think about how much communication you have with that person. I mean, they're practically like glued to your hip. They don't want to hiccup without, well, the good clients anyway, the ones that listen, the ones that follow the rules, follow the commandments, right? Not the people that show up in a brand new car or go and buy all the furniture before they get the house. We love them. We love them, but that could hurt you. However, so the ones that are like, wait, can I do this? Wait, I have a question. Got a second? They're really, really invested in your knowledge. So it's not just about the knowledge of the process. There's people that want to know about what's happening nationally, regionally, and absolutely what's going on in the local market. And you might say, well, why am I going to give this information? There's people aren't buying right now, or people, buyers are exhausted, or sellers just aren't putting their houses on the market because they don't have a place, then they can't find a house. Any reason that you have, like when your cat is climbing on your laptop when you're doing a presentation, graphics and talking points are really helpful. So graphics and talking points are really helpful. And that's why people love social media so much, because it allows them to consume information without a lot of labor and time. Okay. Two things that nobody wants to give extra of. For time, most of us don't even have the extra. So there we go. So inbound and outbound marketing is not a new concept. It's been around for a while now. But I would say that it's still a concept that a lot of people aren't familiar with. So outbound marketing is all of your traditional marketing that you're probably extremely familiar with. So things like print advertising, TV, radio, even if you saw like a banner, somewhere, cold calling, those are all considered, or telemarketing, that's all considered outbound marketing, because you're hitting people over the head with your message and you're saying, look at me, look at me. That's a one-way communication. Billboards is a big example of this. So you're driving down the highway and you see a billboard, and the billboard doesn't care if you want to see the billboard. The billboard's just going to go there in the hopes that as many people as possible are going to see the billboard, and somebody is going to get caught in the net and want to call. The billboard doesn't know if anybody is in the market to buy a home or to sell a home. It's just there as sheer repetition. Now, outbound marketing can still be very effective. The downside of outbound marketing is that, like I said, it's a one-way conversation and it's very expensive. Despite the lack of wanting for these types of marketing, they haven't discounted them. If anything, they've gone the opposite way because they need to make up for loss of revenue. So rarely in these instances is somebody seeking to educate and entertain, because you just can't. How could I possibly educate and entertain you on a billboard? Like I'm trying to grab a half a millisecond of your eyesight as you drive by. Really, I'm just trying to get brand recognition typically. With inbound marketing, it's all about attracting people like a magnet. So communication's interactive. It's two ways. That's why it's called social media, right? So customers or clients, they come to you from search engine optimization. So that's using keywords that your ideal clients might be searching for. They could come through social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and it's all about providing value. And it's all about seeking to entertain and educate. Now, there are people that when you think about outbound marketing, you're going to probably have a name that comes to mind. Also, when you're thinking about inbound marketing, like something like social media, I'm sure there's somebody you're like, oh no, not that person again. And oftentimes the person that is, confused about how to use social media is confused because they treat it like an outbound marketing platform. Okay. I see this all the time. Even Jimmy Mackin, the person that I just quoted that was on Keeping Current Matters, just started replying to his Instagram comments like in the last 2 weeks. So even the pros sometimes forget the basics, and that is building relationships. And even though you're not belly to belly, you have this incredible opportunity to reach people and reach them in a way that they want more, and they want to keep following you. And then when they are ready for whatever it is that you offer that they can take advantage of, they will reach out. And they can do that in so many different ways too. Not everybody wants to pick up the phone. They can text, they can send you an email, they can send you a direct message through social media. They could send you a chat message on your website. They could fill out a form. They could fill out a landing page. There's a lot of opportunities for them to convert. They could download something that you have for free. They can put their address in for a free market evaluation. There's a lot of ways to provide value without them having to pick up the phone and give you their name and, if you're in mortgages, like I'm thinking like, Chris, when you would take the app and you have to ask for the social security number. I mean, if somebody just messaged you off social, off social media, you're not gonna be like, okay, all right, date of birth, social, and like say nothing else. I mean, you have to date everyone a little bit. So there's a courting process. The courting process, depending on the person and what they need to do or want to do, that process can be anywhere. That could be a day, it could be a week, or it could be 2 years. Now, think about how labor intensive it would be if you had to physically call that person, the amount of times that would be needed to stay top of mind and demonstrate your knowledge and expertise over a 2-year period. Multiply that by 10, multiply that by 40, multiply it by 1,000. It depends on how many leads you generate. I mean, and if you look at your past clients, your sphere of influence, that number starts to get like a little bit on the scary side. Now, if you have someone in your team that's all they do, and that's power to you. I used to have someone back in the day that did that for me for years. And it was awesome. But most people don't have that. And even so, that person still has to reach out 6 to 10 times. So the idea about inbound marketing is that you're reaching people, and when they're ready, they start the conversation, and it's your responsibility to pick up the phone per se. I'm a huge fan of this show. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's on Netflix now. It started off on Pop TV, which is where I first saw it. It's called Schitt's Creek. And if you see the spelling below, I'm not swearing at you. So depending on the target audience that you're trying to deliver to, it's going to make a difference about where to deliver your message. Okay. So if you are looking to reach someone who is maybe needing to sell their house, move into a smaller space, maybe it's like 65 plus, where you spend your time, where you deliver that message might be different than if you're focused on the first-time home buyer, which statistically is about age 34. Okay, so someone that's age 34, the way to their heart is texting and Instagram, maybe YouTube if you dabble in videos or short form video content. So that's going to be different than or a drip email marketing. That's going to be a lot different than someone who is not, for a fact, is probably not on Instagram, maybe on Facebook, and you could still reach them direct mail, maybe some door knocking, things like that. All right. So when to deliver your message is just as important as where to put it. So I keep talking about visibility. So the nice, beautiful thing about social media is that all of these business platforms, they have something called insights or analytics, where it tells you, some of them will even tell you, hey, Shalimar, your best time to post is on Thursday, and at 7 p.m. And you can constantly, change and edit and see what works and what doesn't work. But if my social media platform tells me that Thursdays at 7 o'clock are the best time to post, you bet your butt I'm going to be posting at Thursdays at 7 o'clock. But I'm also going to post at other times too, because I'm going to want to see what other kind of traction that I could get. But just generally speaking, I've put up some times here for you. So for Facebook, from my perspective and the clients that I have, we see first thing in the morning around, anywhere from 7 to 9 is very popular. Chris, I'm going to put you in the hot seat for a second. Why do you think 7 to 9 a.m. is a popular time?
It's before work. It's before they get entrenched, I would assume, in their day-to-day activities.
Right. And what's the first thing people do when they wake up in the morning?
Look at their phone.
They look at their phone, not kiss their spouse or their kids.
Not at all. First thing, look at my phone.
Yep, look at your phone. Then they hopefully do that. Yes, exactly. And then you see a uptick around 11 to 1 p.m. What's happening then?
Lunch,
right? Or you wish it was lunch. And so you're just
starting to get a snack.
Right. Yeah. We also can see an activity all the way up to like 4:30 because people get food comas, and they're like, they're back from lunch, or they're just like, I'm over this day, and they might be, or they could be in between meetings, and the things that they're checking is social media, right? You also can see an impact happening typically between like 6:30 and 9 p.m. It really drops off dramatically around 9 p.m. Chris, why do you think that we see a spike at those times?
Well, it's dinner time. People are sitting with their family, and instead of talking with their family, they're doing their social media, unfortunately. Then at 9 o'clock, hopefully everyone's in bed, right? So
I'm laughing because I'm laughing because it, yes, exactly.
It's a shame.
I was at dinner 2 nights ago with my husband and my daughter. And at one point, like I looked up and we were all just for a couple of minutes, but there was a lull in the conversation. It was like at that moment where we're like, where's the food? And everybody kind of just pulled out their phones and just started looking at them. And then I was like, hey, let's put those down. I'm talking a lot about Instagram for that first time home buyer. So Instagram is unique because their algorithm is still manipulative. What I mean by that is it's malleable. Whereas Facebook, if you want to get traction on Facebook business page, you really have to spend money and do what's called a boosted post. Whereas on Instagram, you can use the algorithm to your advantage. And if you have a popular piece of content, the algorithm that is unfortunately proprietary, but we do have some clue a little bit about what it does based on the results, will show your content to more people and help you get discovered by more strangers, people that have the desire and resources, do business with you, but don't already know and like and trust you. Yeah, it's your goal with educating that you do so. Once you've chosen your platform, you've got an idea of when you're going to post this stuff, and all of this stuff can be scheduled ahead of time. You don't have to post this stuff live. So in Facebook, they have a Meta Suite calendar. And Facebook owns Instagram. So if you plan on also posting on Instagram, you can use Facebook's scheduling tool for both. They constantly add new features to this, and they've even made it so easy that you can even schedule stories, which typically are supposed to be something that used to be posted live and then expired after a certain time. They still expire after 24 hours. They go into your archive. But in terms of when they post, you used to have to be on your phone and post it at a certain time. It was, labor intensive, especially for a business professional. So what are we actually going to be delivering them? Well, I'm going to walk you through. You have a few different options here. I recommend highly starting off with a local market stats graphic. It's probably the easiest one out of all of them. So we'll just start with that. The second piece is to then take that local market stats graphic and make a 1 to 3 minute video explaining the graphic and maybe other headlines or, points that you think people should be paying attention to right now. Then you can also turn that local market stats graphic and or video into a blog. Now, blogs are really, really important because it's not static content on your website. Typically, when somebody has a website, they're not making too many changes to it. Your property information might change, but you're not going and changing your bio every day. But blogs give you an opportunity to focus on search engine optimized keywords or things that people might be searching for, like information about the real estate market or certain areas. And you have the ability to come up in the search engines for those keywords. And then finally, for that relationship building piece, if you have audiences already in your database that you have either emails or phone numbers for, you can then send an email and text update that goes through, letting them know about this graphic, sends them a text with the video, or draws their attention to the blog, or all of the above. Okay, so this is the local market stats graphic. Again, don't scramble because you're going to get a copy of this. You're going to get a copy of this. All right. So this will be in Canva for you. For those of you that don't know what Canva is a graphic design tool for people that are not graphic designers. It's probably one of the greatest inventions ever, which is why millions of people use it. It doesn't require like a degree in design or Photoshop to learn how to use this. It's literally, like a lot of drag and drop, a lot of templates, things like that. So the cool piece about this is that you'll be able to change this to your brand colors. You can even change the fonts. You can drop your logo in, and then you can just flip these arrows up and down depending on what is applicable for your area. Okay. And what we're going to post along with our beautiful graphic that people are going to think you stayed up all night making is August 2022 real estate market update for Mechanicsburg. Real estate market update for Mechanicsburg. So what's going on in the housing market in your neighborhood? We've got the numbers, or I've got the numbers in my latest report, or our latest report. We cover the average home sales price in Mechanicsburg, the average days on market, and more. What this data means if you're thinking of buying or selling, or you could say what these data points mean, and how I can help, or how the team at X can help. Click here to check it out. Now, this is where you could have a link to the blog post. If you're not going to do the blog post, you would just get rid of this piece here and get rid of this week cover, and then just post the image because that's right there for them. And then contact us or me for a free consult about your real estate questions and whatever your sign off is that you're comfortable. And here are some hashtags that you could use. If you want to research your own hashtags, try to go for hashtags that have 500,000 or less posts. They tend to be less competitive and allow you to rank more organically. So something like realtor or real estate, as you can imagine, is at the top of the food chain. People use that all the time. So there's millions of posts. So the chances of you ranking organically for somebody typing in the keyword realtor on, say, Instagram is a lot lower than if you were to put in Mechanicsburg real estate, okay? Or just Mechanicsburg. So if you want to take the graphic and you want to move forward and do a 1 to 3 minute video, just know that on Instagram for a short form video, you want to keep that at 90 seconds. There's a little trick though right now, is that when Instagram made the change for all videos becoming reels, they had a minimum of a 1 second video. So you can download the graphic that I just showed you from Canva as an MP4, upload it as a 1 second video, and it will get in the Reels algorithm. So you have this opportunity to get a lot more eyes on something that isn't necessarily doing anything really different than a static post. So that's a little inside baseball. I'm sure at some point they'll figure it out and or take it away. But for right now, it's working incredibly. So just some basic tips for you on how to record a video so that people can hear you and see you. So we've got, and I'm not going to go through these crazy because I'm going to send this out to you after, but one very key point, get their attention right off the bat. And I'm a terrible snapper, as you can hear. There's no noises happening here, just fingernails. I would not start off a video that I want to grab people's attention with, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you about the local. No. So say that the average median home price has gone up 20%. Did you know that the Mechanicsburg average median home sale price has gone up 20%? For those of you sitting on the fence about selling your house, that would be the difference of, and then throw out a number. Okay. That's going to get my attention a lot more. And then you go into, hi, I'm Shalimar from XYZ real estate team. I'm your local market expert, and I can't wait to talk to you about what's going on in the market for August. You know, would that make you want to watch me, Chris? Would you want to watch that?
I would want to watch that. The answer is yes.
It doesn't hurt to have props too. Like if you wanted to print out your graphic, if you had like, you know, say accepted offer, obviously with the private information blocked out, and you're just holding up like, look at all these accepted offers. It doesn't really matter what you hold up. If you could do a video on paint colors, you know, it's just getting people's attention and not doing the average, what the average person is going to, you know, kind of sit there and just be like, bah, 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 bah. Unfortunately, because there is so much content, that like stoic pose, like you're delivering the news, is just not going to resonate with people unless you're super, super well-known already. Okay, so if you already have a huge following and you're just going to start doing video right now, then yeah, you could probably sit there and just do whatever. But if you're trying to use video as a way to become more visible and demonstrate your credibility, you've got to be different. And an easy way to be different is to get people's attention and then introduce yourself. That is a key for all video right now. So in your leave behind that you're going to get from today, I have a blank version of this as well, where you can put some notes in, put some scripts in, and that will help you, kind of move forward with the video. Now, if you decide to do the blog with both the video and the graphic, or just the blog and the graphic, I've literally given you copy and paste how to take this from this graphic into becoming an article. All right. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to do a short introduction, and we're going to try to treat this just like we did with the video. Let's not bore people with, hi, my name is. No, let's give them an example of something like facts tell, stories sell. Telling a story and allowing people to connect to that story is always going to get people's attention a lot more. And then going into, okay, and here's what we're going to show you. Now, if the thought of writing something, it makes your skin crawl, there are people out there called copywriters or ghostwriters, where you can find them on Upwork or Fiverr or, Google search. And for, we have copywriters on our team. So basically what a copywriter or ghostwriter does is they take what you would like to put out there, they write it in a beautiful article, they make it search engine optimized, and then they're giving you permission through an exchange of funds to post that as if you wrote it. Okay. People do this all the time with books, where they, give their life experience. They might give how-to strategies, everything. And then a ghostwriter actually puts it into a book format. It's not cheating. It's totally permissible. You can still give as much as possible. They also have editors out there that'll do the same thing. And then this is what you're going to want to share. So this is where you're going to share the stats and really go into them a little bit about what if any of these things mean for Mechanicsburg homeowners and sellers. I know, just sticking with that example that Chris had given us. So this is where you're going to give an analysis and advice for the homeowners and sellers in the market using the stats as evidence. And then you can do the same thing for home buyers. And then you're going to just do a conclusion, like in overall, what's your take? And then you got to have a call to action. So what do you want people to do with this information? Once they're done consuming it, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to email you? Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to put their address in to find out how much their house is worth? What is it that you want them to do? Because you don't want to give away all this information and not give them another way to stay in touch with you. They might not use it, but make it so easy for them where it's like, if they close their eyes, they could probably put their finger on how to get in touch with you. If you do just the graphic, just the video, just the blog, any of these things could then become part of a swipe and you can utilize for this email template. Now you're going to put in the subject line whatever data point you've discovered through your research. And where you get the information for your data point are typically going to be from MLS or whatever you use for listing your properties, as well as your area association of realtors or board of realtors will typically put out this information as well. So the subject line could literally just be a percentage. And you want to let people know, hey, that's how much home values have increased in the last 12 months. And in Mechanicsburg, we've seen a blank increase. When was the last time you checked your home's value? Because most people check it a few times a year. So that's that whole FOMO, fear of missing out. As a value add to my clients, or as a value add, for following me or subscribing or however they got in touch with you, I'd love to work on a custom report for you. Have you made any major improvements to your home this past year? What am I trying to do with this email template, Chris, besides, again, dropping more items on my keyboard?
I don't know, create curiosity, maybe, get people interested in wanting to talk to you, creating some sort of value for giving them a reason to reach out to you, I guess.
That's right. Yeah.
It sticks to me.
Let's start a conversation.
Right.
starting a conversation. That's what it's all about. So you could also include a link to the graphic or have the graphic embedded. You could have a link to the blog. You could say, hey, check out even in the signature, the email signature, you could have, check out my latest market video. And these are great ways to engage. Versus the difference here is a lot of people will deliver all the information and then they just leave it. And it's just like, wait, okay, thanks for the information. Like, what did you want me to do with it? So, and some people will just consume it. They won't answer your question or they won't reach out. But for those people that had the potential to, you may have missed an opportunity because you need to help them process the information. Because remember, everybody's getting so much information these days. So what is it that you want me to do with what I've just digested? Here's another one, and this one's geared towards buyers. Have you given up? So if you've given up on trying to find the perfect home this year, we've got some good news for you. Inventory levels are finally on the rise. Hopefully that's true in your area. You can pull out something from realtor.com or somewhere. In our local market, we've seen XYZ in the last month. If you've been on the sidelines, you've been waiting, this might be it. Let's connect, develop a plan that makes sense for you. Again, communicating that value proposition or call to action always. And if you want, you can include the other resources. And you can also send any of these as a text as well. You might want to shorten them up a little bit, but you can also send it as a drip text. Be mindful when you send a text, just like emails, people have to have the ability to opt out. So if they tell you stop, don't message me, you do need to remove them just like you would with an email, which typically is done automatically now. People click unsubscribe. And if you're using a text service, or if your CRM, your customer relationship management software that you use has a texting functionality, then it's typically built in. If they press, they put D&D or stop, it'll automatically remove them for the most part. I see that. So places where you can use some tools. So tools that work well. BombBomb is great for delivering video messages and email marketing content. If you record the video or upload a video natively in BombBomb, it will play automatically and it will create almost like a GIF, like a looping image to get people's attention when they're looking at the email in their inbox as a preview. You can also link to a YouTube video, which will embed the YouTube video in the email, and then you can get some traffic to your YouTube content that way. Or you can send a plain email through BombBomb without a video, but it was mainly designed for that reason. Keeping Current Matters, I already talked about that a little bit at the beginning. Unbelievably helpful site for stats about what's going on, the current market. It's a lot of national data and regional data, but it still gives you kind of a baseline of talking points that you can then see if it matches up to your local area. And then finally, I'm a huge fan of HomeBot. HomeBot is a customized report that goes out automatically to the folks that you put on it. Chris, I assume you have good anyone that's used HomeBot has never said I have bad traction with it. The open rates on HomeBot are like insane, because even if my worst enemy sent me a report, it said, I know how much your home was worth, I would probably still open it, even if I thought there was a virus in there.
Yeah, for sure. We get it's like a ridiculously high click-through rate, and it's an interactive platform that
correct.
And people want to know what their house is worth. So it's one of the best investments I've ever made, hands down.
And it's very inexpensive. So it's $25 for the first 500 contacts. You do have to partner with somebody like Chris, a mortgage professional, to get access to the home buyer side of it. However, you still can utilize it on your own if you want for home sellers. One of my real estate team clients does that. It's just a matter of what you want to use it for. You can also deliver video messages in there, and they have a number of pre-made templates on education for folks about different things. And it goes into how much they could potentially get if they rented their house, what would it look like if they paid it off in a certain time period, and everything that person clicks on becomes tracked, so you can kind of gauge where their interest lies and where they're kind of their heads at.
I just opened my 30-day performance. I had an 80% open rate. that is unheard of in marketing. And 53% actually clicked through, 80% opened, 53% did home views. So you never get that. So anyway.
Right. And Chris is 100% on the money with that, because the best open rate you would look for real estate and mortgage marketing emails would be around 18 to 20% would be like phenomenal.
That's great.
And you'd want to see a 1% click-through rate, 1%. And Chris just said his is 53%.
Yeah,
and 80% open rate. So definitely connect with Chris if that's something you want to learn more about. Fairway does an unbelievable job at making that super easy to partner up. So he can walk you through that. He also uses BombBomb. So if you have questions about that, and he also uses Keeping Current Matter. So all these resources are, Chris is the man to ask, from his mortgage perspective. Like, of course, I'm going to sit here and say, you need to use this. I'm a marketer. But just know that my business is all about doing things done for you business development services, because we know that everybody only has that same 24 hours in a day. So one other thing I want to mention right now is, it is so important to partner with the right people right now, because we are going after the same piece of cheese. So in order to break through that noise, you want to be able to have as much competitive advantages as possible. And Fairway and what Chris has to offer, I feel like, is really all about that. Chris, do you want to just talk a little bit about some of the programs that you have? Because these can also be talking points for videos, for social media graphics, for blogs. You can talk about available programs, not just what Chris offers, but even like your local area. Are they offering any down payment assistance, any grants, things like that? But I'll let Chris take it away for a moment. He can talk to you a little bit about some Fairway specific programs.
Sure. Two that jump right out are the number one, we got the Lock, Shop, and Go program, which is a pretty powerful tool where folks, if they're having trouble finding a house, which frankly a lot of people have been, it's getting a little easier, but we're able to lock them up for 90 days with an interest rate with a float down option, so they're not stressing over rates going up. We've been blessed over the last month rates have dropped a little bit, but still it takes that risk away. It makes people feel a little bit more comfortable about the process rather than stressing over it. That's critical. We also have the cash guarantee product where we pre-approve somebody and we'll put our money where our mouth is, where we'll say, if we can't get the loan done in the time frame that we're promising, we will buy the house from the seller. Making it as close to a cash offer as it can be without being cash. We're going to guarantee that we're going to close on time at that price, or we'll buy it from the seller. So, and if they choose not to sell it to us, which they have that option, we'll give them $10,000 to walk away. So, it seems crazy, but it's one of those things that we're doing to give you guys a competitive advantage, because if you don't have a cash buyer, you got to be competitive. And I've been doing this for 26 years. I got a plethora of opportunities to help you with loan programs, PHFA, KFIT. I mean, I could talk all day about that stuff, which I'm not going to do. So, but you can certainly reach out offline and ask me questions. I get that every day, and I love that. I want to serve and help. But I'm involved with all this stuff. HomeBot is one of the best investments I've ever made. So, and also working with Shalimar has been a great investment. So helping me put all these things together. So I actually I got a question offline here from one of the agents. One of the other things they said is what other places can you get resources to help themselves keep their target audience informed outside of these places?
Yeah. So real quick, before I jump to that though, I did put a link, teamhadley.blog for, and I'll put the full link in a second, but for Chris's blog, we put out great articles with Chris's, obviously his fantastic input. And yes, he stays up all night and writes them.
I wish I had the ability.
But yeah, those are also, that's a great resource. Your partners. If your partners are investing in marketing, or they're in research, or they're good, they tend to be great presenters and or writers or whatever it might be, they're a great resource for finding out information. I highly recommend subscribing to some of the National Association of Realtors mailing lists to get some data from them. Realtor.com, of course, always puts out a lot of good stuff. We've got Inman News. And then definitely don't forget about your state board or association of realtors and your local board association of realtors. They also put out a lot of great articles, and they tend to highlight, no surprise, what's going on in your specific area. So, and a lot of times they do the legwork for you, especially if something new is coming down the pike. And it doesn't have to be like catastrophic. I mean, it's like, for example, if the trash bags in some towns is going to be going up $3 a bag. I mean, those are things that people need to know. Why wouldn't someone you're not just selling the house, you're selling the trash pickup, you're selling the postal service, you're selling the juice bar down the street. It's the whole lifestyle, right, that comes along with the house. So people want to know if there's a large trash pickup coming. I don't know why I'm on this trash thing right now. Sorry. You know what it is? Tomorrow's trash day. So I'm like, to my head, I got to make sure we have those orange bags. They charge us for bags where I live. I live in Massachusetts. So yeah, so I hope that answers the question. And then if all else fails, you can always reach out to Chris or I, or just, Google, just Google.
One of the things that I think we're all challenged with, and this is a question we got, what should I do if I don't have the time and or skill set to do it?
Great
we're all a little
question,
intimidated
Chris.
by this stuff. Yeah.
Like a softball. Look at this slide. So if you don't, or you might and don't want to, some people just, it's not what they want to focus on their genius zone, and their genius zone is sales, and that's it. Or it could be you just like getting belly to belly with people and building relationships, or whatever it is that is your genius zone. My genius zone happens to be helping people put it all together and make sure it happens all the time in a easily repeatable format that is attractive to the people that you want to do business with. Okay, so that's what we focus on. It's all done for you stuff. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, I highly recommend booking a free call. It's a 15-minute call, and we have specific one-off packages for folks that just need a little help getting started. And then we have those recurring packages for folks that want us to take care of this stuff all the time for them. So thanks for your time and attention today. And thank you, Chris, for having me.
You're welcome, Shalimar. I'm glad you could be here. And if anybody has any questions, and don't get it done today, just holler at us, send us an email. I'm here to help.